All right, heading into GOLFTEC for a lesson. Let's get the rocking the Puma golf shoes. Let's get those on. Yeah, if you ever get a golf lesson at GOLFTEC, they tell you to put your golf shoes on, even though you're going inside to hit some balls, because you want to just simulate as though you were actually playing on the course. So that's what we're doing. So we're heading into GOLFTEC in Westlake, Austin, Texas. I'll meet up with my coach. His name's Klein. He's gonna fix me up. What's happening?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Hey, thanks.
I just need to grab my bag.
Cool.
Make yourself at home.
I'm gonna do a little filming if that's
Yeah, that's
all right. Get me dialed in. Started a YouTube channel recently.
Did you?
About my return to golf.
Cool.
Just getting back after it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Has it been taken off? You've been getting a bunch of viewers,
I've been seeing a tremendous amount of engagement on controversial topics. Like if you talk about live golf,
you
you
will be like, oh,
you get so much engagement. And then on more of the personal stuff, like, you know, getting a fitting and,
yeah,
you know, getting back into it, or like doing a range session and like tracking things and talking about it, like not so much, you know. So it's fun.
it's definitely, you just gotta, I guess, pick the right topic. Right?
Yeah.
Like somewhat.
Yeah.
Let me get this guy going. I don't know what's happening.
Your colleague helped move it over. I think a
It-
righty was in here before.
It usually gets a little bit disconnected. So what have you been working on specifically?
So I went through our swing evaluation. I mean, there are things anywhere from, you know, grip, setup, takeaway, follow through, and then my big problem with my dip, if you will. But I've been just trying to work on grip, like getting more of a stronger grip.
Yeah. Is that
So
helping?
we
you?
talked about
seeing a little bit more of those
2.5 knuckles,
Mm-hmm.
trying to do that, and then just been trying to get through, you know, and not do that dip as much.
Yeah. Try to get more posted through.
Yeah,
versus
post
kind
it
of,
through,
just kind of versus out.
and then just try and get more like consistent strikes.
Yeah.
And
No, definitely.
but I would love your, you know, feedback on like.
Of course.
This is kind of like the first lesson, obviously. So like feedback on where you think we should go.
Yeah. Well, let's get some swings in and whatnot. I know you're just kind of warming up. Have you been hitting them okay when you've been coming in here the past couple times, several times?
I seem to consistently. I don't know if it's a draw, but I feel like the first time I came in for the swing evaluation, I had seen that my launch my launch direction was highly positive. So like I was hitting everything to the right. Then I came in here for the swing evaluation, and I really wasn't doing that. But now,
you're getting a little lefts.
yeah, the last 2 times I've come in here for practice, I have been hitting to the right.
Like a little draw like that one?
Yeah, but I mean, would you call that a draw, or would you call that?
Definitely. I
Okay.
mean, the amount that it's turning over is, I mean, it's honestly like that's pretty dang straight. I mean, if anything, that it just fell, you know, almost like a yard or two to the right. So
Okay.
it's a pretty straight shot, but yeah, that's still considered a draw.
Okay.
If it's screeching, you know, like let's say over 20 yards, then those are the ones that would be considered hooked. But that right there, it starts up, hits its peak, and just falls a little bit right.
Okay.
That's going to be a draw for you.
Okay.
That's not bad.
And I have noticed that like my distances are not consistent.
Like you hit one that goes this far.
I would say
Like,
more.
For example, that right there.
Yeah, but more. Like I remember when we did the swing evaluation, I was hitting. You were like, okay, a good 7-iron is 170 carry.
That's pretty dang good, yeah.
You know, and now I'm like 2 times ago when I came in for practice, I was hitting some 170. But like I came in on Tuesday night and was hitting like 7-iron only like between 155 and 165, like something like that.
Okay.
So it just didn't seem like I was
I haven't
consistent.
really gotten a consistent number of. That's good there. What club are you hitting there on the sandwich?
54.
54?
Yeah.
How far would you say you normally hit that guy?
Usually like just over 100 yards if I'm swinging
Yeah,
like
you're just
at it
kind of.
full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The swing looks good. I would say on these last couple of shots, as far as your path coming in, the way you're taking it back, and the way you take it down is really, really good. Still have a little bitty bit of that little buckle right there. You see it?
Yes. Yes.
That's okay. I will tell you, that's not the worst thing that could be going on. It's just taking away a little bit of our, kind of our finishing power and rotation. Because right there, all we really need to do, as we get here, we're driving the leg exactly the way we want to. Now what we need to do is just get this right leg to straighten up. And when that happens, what you're gonna see is that right hip is gonna open up completely, because I'm gonna try to show you the best example I can go on right now. Because we're coming this way, we're gonna do this. So because right now what we're doing is letting that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if we push this in and let it straighten up, you'll see how my hips open and I'm able to rotate a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I do this, I can feel a lot of tension right here on my, well, I guess it's because I'm not used to it. A lot of tension on my, on my hip right here a little bit, and really on that right side, right? It's almost like a good way to practice is also is doing this kind of like a step-in drill, right? Where you're somewhat like this, and you don't even have to hit a ball.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like this, and you take it back, and then you just kind of post that front leg. There you go, and really focus on. Good, 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 good. That's the easiest way to practice that. Would be that step-in drill, and then if you get really good at it, you can somewhat practice it while hitting some shots. But it takes a little bit more hand-eye, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know how to break that.
It's alright, just a little habit. Habits form patterns, and our brain loves patterns.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's
A little bit there.
years and years,
I mean, I got some things in my golf swing that are like, oh my gosh.
So what do you, where should we focus? What should we do?
Well, let's jump up to an iron. That's a little, unless there's something that you wanted to particularly focus on. Let's drop up to like an 8-iron.
Okay.
And then we'll work with that guy just because it's a little bit in the center of the back for the most part. And this guy, we're typically seeing it go, how far would you say?
I would like to see an 8-iron be right around 150.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, hitting a 7-iron, 170, that's definitely a little past average. It's very good. Nice. That one faded just a little bit.
Yeah, see, that is
Short.
odd, you know?
Shorty.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1.7.
So yeah, we're gonna check this out. So on that one specifically, we came in, we hit it right on the toe part of that club,
Yeah.
right? So that is gonna take off about 10, 15 yards off of that ball.
Yeah.
So The reason why we're hitting it on the toe, you can see how close we are to our body with our hands right there, right? So what we need to do is get a little bit, because we're doing the right motion. We're coming through just a little close here, which is exposing us to hit the toe. So when we come through, we need to get some more room so we can somewhat push a little bit out and expose more of that center of the face, right? And it's not much.
Okay.
We'll tell you, it's what we like to call a micro adjustment, because we're hitting here, and then we're trying to go here, so we get about that much room, right? So it's one of those things, but the feeling and the thought that I want you to process is like, okay, I'm getting a little bit too kind of, I guess you can call it stuck here, right? I need to get a little bit more room, so I swing in just a little bit more out. So in your case, it would be just slightly more, instead of us going, let's say, right down the middle like this, we'd be trying to go a little bit more out in that direction, right? Because you're doing excellent as far as, you know, the draws happening. Right, this one that we hit last was a little bit on the toe, so it didn't really hold its curvature, which is natural. But starting it off right here, and let's say us hitting it in the middle of the face and it going up and then falling there is going to be ultimate goal, right? So let's give that a try.
Okay.
Are you playing with anybody on? What did you say you're going to play Friday, right?
Tomorrow I'm playing with my buddy.
Nice. Should be fun. The weather should be great.
I'm
That's the
hoping
good
it
part
can,
about playing right now.
Yeah, see, 127. I think I'm just not swinging at him enough.
Right. Still.
Did that thing really say 127?
That did, yeah.
Man, I see it says 131 up there.
Oh, really?
That's interesting. It does say 127, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. It's the same thing. That's interesting.
Alright, let me swing it a little harder, and we'll try and swing a little in, more in to out.
Okay. Like it.
I thought we could cut that.
Yeah, we'll try it there. Definitely. Let's see. That's also a really big possibility. When we bring in a little bit more from the inside, essentially what we do is we get that club a lot closer to the ground,
Yeah.
a lot sooner. So you can see even right here, it's very close, hitting the ground there, and then eventually it does. And we also did catch it a little bit on that toe. So you can also see how we're somewhat, when we get into impact, the ball somewhat takes off at a little bit of a angle to the right hand side.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, launch direction.
Yeah. So this is where, when we come in, we don't want to be so shut, because it's a combination, a little bit of our path and the club face being a little shut, that it's going this way. But we want to be able to, like I said, you know, start it a little bit more left, more in this direction, right? So that's where we're gonna have to do a little bit more of this. I'll go ahead and flip him around here. Or when he comes through, you'll see that he's got the shallowness working in from this way, but you can see how he's somewhat pushing his hands and swinging a little bit more to the left of his target, which is right here, right? The red flag.
Okay.
So you can see it's a slight little disassociation from where he's actually aiming and where his club path is going, right? Now the good thing is that most of the time our club face is closed, so that means it'll come back, right? So it's just a little bit of us swinging a little bit more out this way, when you can see that when we come in on our side. Comes down in the way it needs to, but then it starts to go this way.
Yeah.
Right? We want our hands to have a little bit more room like he does. You see this little part right here?
Yeah.
And then right here we're a little like that. So it's really trying to keep ourselves, like almost if we were tossing a ball, right? If we had a ball and we were in our golf position, we'd be like so, and we'd be like this, and then we kind of let it swing out there away from us. So if you were in the position that you're at, and we're kind of aiming right at the middle, it's almost like you're trying to shoot the ball towards this target strip, right? A little bit of this, and what that's doing is also creating a lot more room for us to get our hands in our club through. Good. You can practice it with the club too, right? You just kind of point it out in that direction, like if you came down through here. Okay, I'm trying to get out there, out there. And that'll get us away from those. Oops, I don't know if I put this in the right spot. Don't worry about it. They look so pretty. A bit more separation. Does it really? See, that says 144 up there.
That's crazy.
That's weird. I think we should go more on what that thing's saying.
On the device?
Yeah. Because, I mean, if anything, in my eyes, I feel like that thing would be, because that's what's telling this, how far we are. So I don't know how that's pulling up a different number. Let's see what we did here. Good turn. Dropped it. Ooh, caught it more inside of that, inside of the face, which is the middle part. Right. Did have a little bit more room here. You can see it's not much, but there's a slight bit there. The more and more we get better at that, that's where we're going to be able to start this one right where we want it to, and then have it trickle over. Because you still hit a perfect little draw there. 115 RPMs of rightward spin. So that means it went up, hit its peak, and just barely fell off to the right hand side.
What do you think about like hinging more at the waist, if you will?
You mean like your bend?
Yeah, like should I be? I feel like maybe I'm like too
upright?
straight up, and my hands are just stuck right over there. Like should I be trying to hinge over just a little bit more?
I mean, your spine angle looks great. I mean, do you feel like you're on your heels? No? Like your weight?
I'm not paying attention.
Yeah. Well, unless you were on your heels, kind of almost sitting down,
Yeah.
then that would be where that's a problem. But right now, if you look at your spine angle, like from your tailbone to your kind of where your shoulder blades meet,
Yeah.
that is a pretty straight angle right there.
Yeah.
Now we do have a little rounding up top, it's just because we have long arms and our hands are hanging down, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, really good. And then even this right here, how the butt angle, butt end of your club is pointing through your waistline, that's also really, really good. So you're not too, you also don't want to be where your head is, let's say, right over the ball. We're not putting, right? It needs to be at an angle like so.
Yeah.
So you're okay there. If I get that same shot, that was a little better. Is it 130 again?
It says 135.
Yeah, 141 up here. Huh. That's odd.
I feel like I'm
Even on my system, you see it's giving me 3 different numbers. Over here it tells me 140. Then over there it says 141.
So-
I forgot to say bye to everybody.
Work
Later, family.
work on kind of in to out, giving myself that
That little
space,
that space, right?
and then moving the ball back a little bit. in
Yeah, a
the
little bit
stance.
more in the stance. I would say the more that you get to, let's say, your 6'5" is when you maybe want it a little bit like we had it at the beginning.
Okay.
Right? And then once you get into those real long clubs, off the heel toe,
Yeah.
however you put it there.
Okay.
But yeah, the coming in, getting this separation here, right? Getting a little bit more
Yeah.
rotation, a little bit more force through there. And honestly, the easiest way to practice that, I don't know if you have somewhat of a weighted ball or just anything, like a medicine ball would even work, so you can just throw it up against the wall, but it's just kind of getting good at getting used to forcing this, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what the pros do. They're in the gym, just, whatever they're working on. I've seen them use the rope thing, and they're just going like this, like
Yeah.
as fast as they can with weight, and just trying to get all this force into here as possible.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'll tell you, that move right there is the only reason, and our height is why skinny guys like to move here far.
Yeah.
It's just our move here and our length from our arms.
Yeah.
We're able to create a lot more of an angle. But yeah, that right there. And you can even do it on the wall too. The wall's a good way to practice it.
I remember
Get your
seeing
butt
that.
up on here, you get
Yeah.
it here, and try to end up on your hip on this side. And you're just trying to maintain at least something touching the wall the whole time. You just get faster at it. Because that's, I mean, it's very funny how you can do the same swing of the speed, and you can just do it really slow, and then when you go, and then it just, I mean,
Launch it.
it just goes way further, right? And it's the same speed of swing, you're just throwing more at yourself,
Yeah.
or throwing more at it with yourself. All right, man.
All right. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah,
Appreciate
of course,
it.
dude.
I appreciate you going over too.
Oh, I went over with the last guy, so I guess I kind of set myself up. But yeah, keep working on that stuff.
Okay.
Keep doing the good stuff. You're doing great. Like I said at the beginning, your swing is very, very solid. It's just tinkering and sharpening that stuff up.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see how you play tomorrow, my man.
All right.
Play good. Keep it simple. You know,
Yeah.
just play to your strengths.
Yeah.
If you start seeing that you're struggling in some little areas, well, hey, that's what we'll kind of address and try to attack the next time.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, dude.
All right. Thanks, man.
So we'll hop over to the GOLFTEC Clubhouse. And if you've ever been in this before, you've got all of the lessons that you've taken. And so we'll look at this 30-minute lesson right here. And if you click into it, you have a few different headings in the navigation. They take a before swing analysis and a after swing analysis video. And so here was my swing. This was the before swing. You can see that dip in the swing. The other thing that we're going to be working on here today is where my hands are, very close to the body there. And then we'll have an after swing down here, and we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. So then we have the analysis section where Klein, my coach, this guy right over here, is going to walk through and record some of the commentary that he has. He's going to use some of the GOLFTEC technology in order to show me some things on the screen and whatnot. And then we've got a section for the drills that are suggested by your coach. And then the coach can also put in some notes into your individual lesson. So that's kind of neat as well. They do this typically after the fact as they're wrapping up for that day. They're going back through all their individual lessons that they've given, and they're just commenting on them. One of the things that I was working on there with Klein was I seemed to be hitting some shots off the toe of the club, and he started to try and look at how close I was getting my hands to the body, and he talked about micro adjustments and really opening up just a small amount of additional space that would help me get the club through and hit the ball more square. So as we wrap up the lesson, let's go back and look at the before swing. So here's the before swing. Notice where the ball is in my stance, a little bit far forward. If we look at the down the line view, we can take a look at the hands, not that much space. And then let's go ahead and look at the after. And we'll pause it here. Make it a little larger. You can look, the ball's a little bit farther back in the stance. I need to be more in the middle. That's something that I'm definitely working on. And then on this down the line view, let's look at whether I can create some more space. Not too much more there. I definitely need to continue to work on that. There's also a really good drill that Klein shared with me. I thought this one specifically was pretty neat.
Talking about distance with this one. So I know everyone out there, you included, always want more distance with your driver. So I've got a way that will help you create a little bit more, but also help you recognize what the problem is too. So on the downswing, a lot of people who are short hitters get really close to parallel to the ground with the shaft and then start to pull the club in towards them. So their elbow bends, their left wrist starts to extend, and then ultimately in the follow through, the butt end of the club or the end of the grip here, it's really close to me, and the club head itself is really close as well. So a good way to practice hitting the ball harder and faster would be at the same point in time when the shaft is even with the ground to stretch the club out in the follow through as far as you can. So stretch out the club all the way to your shoulder as far as it'll get. You notice how the butt end of the club or this end of the grip is really far from my belt. A good way to practice that is just make a short backswing, punch the ball down the fairway. Should look something like this. So that'll be a really good way for you to start swinging faster, launch these balls out there farther.
And so let's take a look at that after swing and see if we can see any of this pulling up. I'm not seeing a lot of that here. Right there, my arms are relatively straight. Let's see if we can look at it in a larger view. Yeah, that's impact. I mean, my arms are relatively straight, not a lot of bend at all, so that's good. Yeah, the butt end of the club, the end of the grip is definitely far away from my belt, so that's goodness. And then Klein had some decent notes for me, I think, here too. So he talks here about getting some more separation to avoid toe hits. And here was an interesting comment that he made too. He's talking about think about an aggressive turn on the downswing rather than trying to swing harder with, in essence, my arms. He's talking about making a more aggressive turn with my body and allowing my hands to come through naturally. Thanks, guys. Take care. All right, so pretty good session. Really working on 3 things. Number 1, swinging more from the inside in to out, putting the ball further back in the stance, definitely more in the middle, and posting up on my right leg, my lead leg, to try and get rid of the dip that I've got and the loss in power that I seem to be seeing consistently. So overall, pretty good.